South Luangwa National Park, Zambia. Experts have dubbed South Luangwa to be one of the greatest wildlife sanctuaries in the world, and not without reason. The concentration of animals around the Luangwa River and its oxbow lagoons is among the most intense in Africa. The Luangwa River is the most intact major river system in Africa and is the lifeblood of this 9,059 square kilometers park. The park hosts a wide variety of wildlife, birds and vegetation. The now famous walking safari originated in this park and is still one of the finest ways to experience Africa's pristine wilderness firsthand. The changing seasons add to the park's richness, ranging from dry, bare bushveld in the winter to a lush, green wonderland in the summer months. There are 60 different animal species and over 400 different bird species in South Luangwa National Park. The only notable exception is the rhino, sadly poached to extinction. With about 400 of Zambia's 732 species of birds appearing in the park, including 39 birds of prey and 47 migrant species, there is plenty for the birdwatcher to spot, whatever the season. An interest in the vegetation of Zambia will enhance your experience of the bush. Some magnificent trees and plants grow in the Luangwa Valley, and it certainly adds to the richness of one's experience to be able to recognize the different tree species and to discover exotic wildflowers. South Luangwa National Park was established as a national park in 1972. It is located in eastern Zambia, at the tail end of Africa's Great Rift Valley. Famous for its walking safaris, the 9,059 square kilometer nature area is sustained by the Luangwa River, which winds its way through the middle of the park, leaving a spectacular escarpment and a wealth of lagoons and oxbow lakes in its wake. This lush landscape supports one of the greatest concentrations of wildlife in Africa, and as such South Luangwa National Park has become the safari destination of choice for those in the know. Things to do. South Luangwa National Park is considered the birthplace of the walking safari, which was first introduced by iconic safari operators like Norman Carr and Robin Pope. Now, nearly every lodge and camp in the park offers this incredible experience, which allows you to get up close to the animals of the bush in a way that simply isn't possible in a vehicle. Traveling through the valley's lush landscapes on foot also means that you have time to stop and appreciate the smaller things, from exotic insects to animal tracks and rare flora. Walking safaris can last anywhere from a few hours to several days, and are always accompanied by an armed scout and expert guide. Traditional game drives are also popular, and all visitors should book at least one night drive. After dark, a completely different set of nocturnal animals comes out to play, ranging from adorable bush barbies to the undisputed king of the night, the leopard. Specialist birding itineraries are popular in the green season, from November to February, when the abundance of insects brought out by the summer rains attracts hundreds of Palearctic migrant species. Summer is also prime time for boat safaris, a wonderfully tranquil way to observe the birds and wildlife that congregate at the water to drink and to watch hippos and crocodiles making the most of the high water level. Wildlife. South Luangwa National Park is home to 60 mammal species, including the Big Five. Although rhinos were poached to extinction here in the 1990s, the species was reintroduced to the park a few years later and are heavily protected. It is especially famous for its large herds of elephants and buffalo, and the abundant hippo population living in its lagoons. Lions are also relatively common, and South Luangwa is often cited as one of the best places in southern Africa to spot the elusive leopard. There is more to South Luangwa than these safari icons, however. It is also home to the endangered African wild dog, 14 species of antelope, and endemic subspecies including the Thornycroft's giraffe and Crauchete's zebra. The park is also especially well known as a birding destination. Over 400 avian species, more than half of those recorded in Zambia, have been spotted within its boundaries. As well as the usual birds of southern and East Africa, the park provides a resting place for seasonal migrants from as far afield as Europe and Asia. Highlights include the near-threatened African skimmer, the incredibly elusive Bell's fishing owl and the great flocks of ruby-colored southern carmine bee-eaters that nest in the park's sandy riverbanks. South Luangwa is also home to no fewer than 39 raptor species, including 4 species of vulnerable or endangered vulture. Camping places in South Luangwa National Park. If you are looking for a more affordable option, there are private campgrounds outside the park that offer a safe alternative to the traditional safari lodges. 1. Croc Valley, near Mfu Gate. This campground offers sites for tents in addition to their lodges and glamping tents. Campers have access to shady common areas, electricity, a self-catering kitchen, and fire pits. 2. Track and Trail River Camp. This lodge offers fenced-off campsites with running water, electricity, bathrooms, and barbecues in addition to their chalets. There are also high platforms available if you want to pitch your tent high above the ground. 3. Wildlife Camp. With 2 separate campgrounds in one, there's plenty of room to spread out here, and every campsite has running water with hot showers and thatched shelters. You'll also have access to the bar and swimming pool, and firewood is available to buy. Best time to visit the South Luangwa National Park. Climate ultimately defines your visit to South Luangwa. While winter months, May to October, are considered the dry season and best time to visit the national park, the hot and wet summer season, November to April, is regarded as a wild card and sometimes an no-go time to visit South Luangwa. From November to January, expect to have showers almost every day, and even in some cases, floods leave the national park completely inaccessible. Keep in mind, several lodges close their doors during this season, February to April, and open back in April when the climate changes and the rain stops. On the other hand, May to October is excellent for game viewing, as water is limited and animals congregate at the river and waterholes inside the park. Temperature is also cooler at this time of the year, making the experience more comfortable for those who can't stand high temperatures and humidity. Prices also tend to change depending on the time of the year. During the high season, June to August, prices can be almost double as in the low season. Travelers looking forward to having an incredible safari experience and saving some money are recommended to visit South Luangwa in November or December, dates on which the heavy rain has not arrived yet and chances to see animals are still